All of this talk online about decentering men has me thinking. First of all, a lot of us don't understand what exactly decentering is supposed to look like. I'll get to that in a minute. But a bigger conversation is to be had about decentering kids. Hear me out. A lot of the problems women tend to face is because of how badly a lot of us are just innately conditioned to bear children and be mothers. As we all know, age is a huge factor, and you constantly have to be so hyper aware of it. And if you want a baby from that point onwards, all of your decision making is going to be driven by this very strong want. Sadly, this want doesn't come without fear. If you're too late, and what if you miss out on the good guy? What if you don't achieve this dream? What would that do to you? And would that make you feel like you were a failure? Your decision making in big things in life starts to get driven by this fear and this very big goal. If you want something really, really bad, then of course you have to align all of your decisions to make sure that you achieve what you really, really want. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's a very smart, determined approach. Where a lot of us tend to go wrong is when we forget to center ourselves and our comfort and our security. We tend to believe that the security lies in finding an illusion of a decent man, getting married to him, and then having babies with him. That, as we have come to know time and time again, does not work as the best insurance plan to ensure that you do get to live your dream in peace. A lot of us tend to, in fact, get stuck in horrible situations because of this decision to have a baby without more protection in place. I'm not trying to belittle anybody who has made these decisions. I get it. We're instead taught to make a lot of major life decisions to be able to pursue this dream and this goal. But what we're not taught is to think about ourselves, the impact it will have on our time, our resources, our body, our energy, our mental health, and our comfort. What we're not taught enough is how centering this huge desire is supposed to be based in seeing this as a responsibility, as a liability. Do it by all means, but not by seeing it as a blessing. It's not a blessing. It's a huge liability, it's a huge burden, and it could actually ruin the quality of your life, and actually ruin the quality of two people's lives for that matter, you and your child. Our efforts are going to be guided by fear anyway. But what kind of fear definitely has power over your actions? And if you see a child as a responsibility and a burden, you will make sure that your attempts are directed at making sure that you are independent no matter what. You are financially secure and covered no matter what. Your husband could cheat, could die, could lie, could leave you. Recognize and decide what your physical and financial limitations and preferences are, what your lifestyle looks like, what your non-negotiables look like, what your mental health dependency looks like. What do you think you might have to compromise, and do you see a way to be able to address that appropriately? Women don't get to have the luxury of simply wanting these conventional things. Unfortunately, our burden is to always risk assess, and the way we are risk assessing is just very much misdirected. The way we should be risk assessing is to stop seeing the kid as being the prize and you not being able to achieve it as a failure. What you should be risk assessing is how your life is going to be affected if you don't have measures and contingencies in place, and if you don't have an exit plan in place. Exit plan is the right word. The most common circumstance that gets women stuck, especially with a kid in the picture, be it her safety, her security, her mental health, her physical health, her time, her resources, her comfort, everything, is dependent on how much money she can afford to throw at the problem and how much dependent she is on somebody else to be able to throw money at the problem. If women were taught to start to center money in all of their decision making, they would be making much smarter decisions. Would it be easy? No. It still comes from privilege. It still comes from having a head start. Untie the idea of having a kid from the idea of having a man, and it's not the most easiest to do. If you independently are so keen on having a kid, then imagine your life just with the kid without the man. Because that is a very real possibility. If, God forbid, you're left to just care for the child by yourself, do you want to be in a position of struggle? Or do you want to do everything to make sure that it goes as smooth as possible logistically, all things considered? The fear shouldn't be that you would be alone. The fear has to be, what if you get stuck with the wrong person? What if you get stuck with no resources, no finances, no way to actually make things easy and bearable and as much normal for yourself? All of this, even if I keep telling you, doesn't actually sink in, doesn't get deeply internalized till you are in your 30s. Even in your late 30s in some cases. So for that matter, the deep conditioning that we have to chase traditions needs to just be slightly adjusted to see all of it as a liability and all of it as being either a neutral decision that you make for your life or be the absolute worst decision that you could be making for your life that could impact your quality of life, your safety, your health, your happiness. Making sure that you think about your comfort and your quality of life will make sure that you're prioritizing your career, your education, so that no matter what, you have something to fall back on. In a world that heavily relies on women making sacrifices and women taking all of the efforts and women doing so much of the work to be accepted in the society, being financially literate and being financially independent and aware and smart is the biggest act of defiance. It's far more likely that a woman gets stuck in a horrible, shitty situation and having a kid is used against her. Systems, laws, societies, none of them actually favor women or protect women and children for that matter. So the best tool at your disposal is awareness, listening to all of the horror stories and making sure that you have contingency measures and risk assessment and an exit plan in any situation possible to the best of your capability. Are you still going to be at the risk of failing? Yes, all of us are at any given point, no matter how much preparation we have. But with all of this assessment, you reduce the chances significantly. At the very least, you repel horrible people because then they see you as a problem. You wouldn't believe the number of times that men have told me that I overthink and that my brain and overthinking is my biggest enemy. Sir, I am just here thinking for myself. That of course seems like overthinking to you. That itself will weed out so many idiot people from your life, I swear to God. But anyway, I digress. Center yourselves respectfully, and all of your efforts will be directed towards it. Unfortunately, the system does not make it easy for us to want anything easily without analyzing the impact of it on the quality of our lives. If you don't make this impact analysis yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. But guess what they will be super quick to do? Blame you for not thinking things through and blame you for making the wrong decisions. Not gonna lie, babies, all of this gives me a headache. All of this is a lot of work and so draining. The system doesn't make it easy for us to just be soft and happy and simple. The system makes it so that you have to always assess what the impact on your life is gonna be of your decisions, because the impact is harder and stronger on you as a woman. If you are somebody who likes good quality of life for yourself, even a little bit, then these are the things that you should be thinking of. This is the kind of thought process that you should be cultivating in all of the young girls around you that are looking up to you.